Unrivaled has created quite the buzz leading up to their tip-off games this Friday. But can the league live up to the hype, and what does this mean for the WNBA? What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel Demita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. Unrivaled kicks off its inaugural season this weekend, and honestly, you guys, there is so much hype around this league, and it has been so interesting to see what they have been posting and what the players who are playing in Unrivaled have to say about the league. If you guys can hear that, my cat is like tumbling around in her tunnel right now and making all of the noises, so my apologies. Anyway, a quote that stood out to me was something that Alyssa Thomas had to say. So right now, it is obviously off season for the WNBA. It is free agency. There's a lot of rumors about where players are going to go, who's gonna stay with their respective teams. And when Alyssa Thomas was asked about free agency, if you guys remember, Alyssa Thomas plays for the Connecticut Sun. This is what she had to say. She said, "I'm focused on Unrivaled right now. They have everything you possibly need here. They don't really have a lot of those things in Connecticut. I've been trying to absorb as much knowledge as I can." So obviously here, it kind of feels like she's throwing Connecticut under the bus a little bit by saying they have everything you possibly need here and they don't have those things in Connecticut. I don't know if that's shade to her current team or if that's shade to the WNBA as a whole, but like Alyssa Thomas, Angel Reese had something similar to say about Unrivaled. When Angel was asked about Unrivaled, she said, "I would stay here forever. Everything I need is here, from massages to cold tubs to being able to have resources to workouts and everything." Now, the league president, Alex Basil, who is also Nafisa Collier's husband, that was kind of the vibe that he said that the league was going for. He said, "We're going to provide daycare services for mothers on arrival. It's everything that the athletes need under one roof when it comes to anything and everything on court or off court for them." I honestly thought that this was so interesting because we heard throughout the WNBA season how players were complaining about different travel situations, or they were complaining about their practice facility. I believe it was the Chicago Sky who was promised a new practice facility and never got it. So we have heard these complaints with the WNBA, and obviously this past season they started flying private and things started to get better, but it seemed to be something, obviously having the founders of Unrivaled being Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, two WNBA players and two, I would say, veterans in the WNBA. They know what they need. They know what would be great for them. They were able to raise enough money to be able to provide those things for these players. And if you look at some of the photos and videos that they are posting online, like everything looks like it's state-of-the-art equipment. The courts look great. The weight room looks great. They have a little makeup station for them that's sponsored by Sephora where they can do their hair and makeup and things. They have the cold tubs, and it does seem like a great place to be. Like they do have it. It's a high-end facility that maybe some of these WNBA teams just don't have. Now, just this week on her podcast, Sue Bird talked about how the WNBA and Unrivaled can actually benefit from one another. So let's hear what she had to say.
Yeah, I agree. I think
so excited about
Unrivaled has benefited from the WNBA, the growth in women's basketball in general. It's coming at the exact right time. I mean, sometimes how do you explain when timing's so perfect? It's just it happened the way it happened. But they're really, to their credit, from a business standpoint, making the most. They are capitalizing on this boom. They are capitalizing. You've already mentioned the sponsorships, the partnerships, getting the media deal. All of that, the timing was so perfect. And that's where I do think that Unrivaled and the WNBA can really benefit each other. They're different games. So it's not in direct competition, yet they can do everything you've essentially just listed out, and it'll just continue to rise or raise the profile of both leagues, which I really love.
Now, I talked about it in another video that I think there is so many things that Unrivaled is doing right, and one of the top things that I just love that they're doing, their marketing, their design, their social media presence has been outstanding. They are helping us as fans get to know these different players on a more personal level. We are getting behind the scenes. We are seeing them with their kids. It's just A+ across the board on all of those things when it comes to marketing and getting fans involved. I will agree with Sue Bird on the point that it is the perfect time for Unrivaled, because obviously we have never seen a boom like we saw with the WNBA last season. And a lot of that, like we've talked about on this channel, a lot of that does go to Caitlin Clark, which is why Unrivaled wanted her so bad. And so I agree with Sue on that point. Like, this is the perfect season to do it. You have other superstars who will be in this league that fans will be excited to tune into. However, I disagree with her on the point that, and this might be a hot take, I disagree with her on the point that that the WNBA will benefit from Unrivaled. I don't think that there's a world where these two leagues coexist if they are owned, if Unrivaled still stays independent. And here's what I mean. If Unrivaled happens to be successful in this first inaugural season, I don't think it will take much time before the WNBA either tries to buy it, meaning the NBA tries to buy it, and make it like WNBA 3v3 and kind of brand it differently, but or WNBA Unrivaled, and they try to just have some sort of ownership on it. It just would seem a little bit crazy to me, because these other leagues that these women go to play in, they haven't been super successful in the United States. Like, obviously, if girls are going overseas to play in EuroLeague or play in China or play wherever, that's just a completely different professional league. This is something that is homegrown, and I disagree with Sue Bird in the sense that I think it could actually compete with the WNBA. If there comes a time where the WNBA in the next 4 to 5 years is still unable to pay these players a good salary, like we know that the players in Unrivaled are getting these crazy numbers, these at least 6-figure deals to play for 10 or 12 weeks, that's really big. And I do think that there's going to be a point, if Unrivaled is successful this season, if they're successful the next season, there's going to be a point where a merger happens or a buyout happens or it changes. And I know a lot of people have also been speculating that Unrivaled eventually goes to the 5v5 format. And I will say, of all of the things, I think I'm rooting for Unrivaled. I do hope that they succeed. I think that they've been doing everything right. I love how they're treating their players. I love how they're marketing and everything. The one thing that I think is going to be a hurdle for them is simply the product of 3v3. And that's not to knock any players whatsoever. The problem is television viewership of 3v3. 3v3 doesn't translate to television the way it looks in person. The difference with Unrivaled is it is full court 3v3, but we've seen the court in the videos and things that they're posting. It's a very shortened court. I feel like even the half court on the Unrivaled court is where Caitlin Clark shoots 3-pointers. And so I think the risk that you run into just with the 3v3 game is if the casual fan will be like, oh, this is really fun to watch. And I think with full court 3v3, they also have to be careful that it doesn't turn into a situation where someone shoots and 2 players crash the board, 1 player runs down the court, somebody gets the rebound and just chucks it down court, and it turns into a cherry pick situation, or it just turns into whichever team is faster and can beat that other team down the court. That's what they're going to do because there's less players on the court. It's easier to go one-on-one. If your person is guarding you and you're faster than them, why not just take them to the bucket full court? And so you run into that risk as well if the game just isn't as dynamic as 5v5. With all that being said, I don't know. I've never seen 3v3 full court. It might be incredible. It might be amazing. It might be what every casual fan wants. That's the only risk that I could see happening, or the only downfall, or the only hurdle that they're going to have to overcome. Now, with that being said, they are on TNT. They have a great broadcast team. It seems like they have great sponsors behind them. So this thing is going to keep pushing. And if people are invested in certain players, they're going to be more inclined to turn on the TV and watch them play. Now, another thing that I thought was interesting is they are implementing a 1v1 tournament during the mid-season. And I think that could also be something that fans are really excited to tune into. That is something that NBA fans have been begging for, that they implement into NBA All-Star Weekend. So with all of that being said, you guys, I wanted to take a look at the Mist versus Rose scrimmage, because here is where we can kind of see how this 3v3 format might play out and how it's going to look on television. So I have just a myriad of clips here. Let's check them out. So it's a high screen from Angel. One-on-one Chelsea Gray. Now Angel is guarding Brianna Stewart, excuse me. So that's what I was talking about. Did you see that right there? They take the ball out of bounds, get it to Brianna Stewart. Angel Reese is guarding her. She takes 2 dribbles and it's a score. That is something that maybe that's exciting for some fans, but if that happens every time down the court, the game is not going to be that exciting. But Brianna Stewart knows that she can beat Angel off the dribble. And so that is something, if there is a mismatch in the 3v3, obviously you want to take advantage of that, but it could turn into a game that's just kind of one-dimensional. Now, it does seem like they're running a lot of half-court sets. They have plays. Let's check out this next clip. So here's Chelsea Gray again, with the cut to the basket. Dejanay with the ball over the screen. Brianna Stewart to the basket. And again, there, another mismatch. The thing with 3v3 is, like, if you can beat your player, if you're playing a man-to-man, which I don't think you can play a zone in 3-on-3. If you're playing man-to-man and you can beat your one person, then you have numbers a lot of the time. So players who, like Brianna Stewart, like Nafisa Collier, players who are good off the dribble and taller are going to be on a huge advantage in this league. Let's check out one more clip. Brianna Stewart setting the high screen, double screen, 1 dribble to the basket, kick to a 3, Dejanay clocks it in. See, that was good basketball. That was a good play there. And then this last clip here is really short, just 5 seconds. Again, a 1v1 play. And that's kind of what I'm talking about there. She beat Chelsea Gray off the dribble, and then it's so hard. You just don't have the extra coverage of 5v5 for defense. So if you can beat your man 1v1 off the dribble, a lot of times you can get to that basket. And if you don't have someone tall sitting there, like a tower stopping you, it's wraps. You can get to the rim. But with that, you guys, let me know your predictions for Unrivaled. Will you be tuning in to the tip-off games? And how do you think the WNBA is going to react to Unrivaled and to what some of the players are insinuating about the WNBA through their comments on Unrivaled? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. Of course, thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it and click that little subscribe button because we are uploading new videos every single week. And with that, you guys, I'll see you next time. Ooh-na.